Welcome, everybody. We are tonight gathered here to present part of our work in progress thing that we've been working on for the past period, for the past several months. We've been exploring different topics and different occurrences that we will use later on in our other performances that we are developing within other projects. So for the past, I'm speaking in English because this is being live streamed to a live audience in New York as well. Of course, Serbian audiences is probably being late a little bit, so someone might come in the middle of the work in progress performance. So for the past several months, we've dealt with disasters, and not just like in the world or what's been going on, but we've also explored catastrophes and disasters for these projects that we are working on. And we found certain elements or definitions or topics of it interesting. So I will first read you some notes about catastrophes and disasters. So catastrophe is actually stems from the Greek word catastrophe, which is defined as a sudden turn of events, a quick sudden change. For an event to be a disaster, the impact must upset the whole system. In the 19th century, term revolution was also used as a synonym. So within the traditional dramatic theory, catastrophe is the change or revolution that arrives towards the end of the action in a dramatic poem which also ends it. When it comes to the term disaster, it was first documented in French language, disaster, in 1564, then English disaster in 1580, but both of these words are derived from the Italian word disastro, which means a bad star. So while this astrological context is obvious, and for some time the word remained limited to this context, but apparently was used quite early as a general signifier for all possible forms of misfortune, same as catastrophe. Disasters are critical windows that allow us to observe underlying processes. Looking through these windows, societies are understood and events are explained. There is a window of opportunity for change that emerges from disaster, but it is short. The opportunity is there, but we are elastic, we are resilient, our bodies, our minds, neurons, souls, and societies. There is always the pressure to reinstall the old system, to go back to the day before the disaster. But after the day before, the day of disaster comes again. And that is how we build the disaster in our societies and create settings for new ones. But there is a part of us that is convinced that maintaining things as they are is still the safest, even if as they are is less than ideal, it's flat, uninspiring, or even painful and violent. It is the surest way to stay out of an overwhelming feeling and the exposure of too much vulnerability.
Sunday morning brings the dawn in. It's just a restless feeling by my side. Early dawning, Sunday morning. It's just the wasted years so close behind. Watch out, the world's behind you. There's always someone around you who will call. It's nothing at all. Sunday morning, and I'm falling. I've got a feeling I don't want to know. Watch out, the world's behind you. There's always someone around you who will call. It's nothing at all. Watch out, the world's behind you. There's always someone around you who will call. It's nothing at all. Sunday morning, Sunday morning, Sunday
Our dramaturg, Tamara Barachkov, had a dream of a catastrophe on the night of October 18th, somewhere in the night between 2 and 3 a.m. And she's actually written down this dream. And this dream, let me just hear it, sorry. It actually begins with the quote. And this quote is, if I'm not mistaken, from the TV show Mad Men. And when the character of Don Draper is awaiting a nuclear catastrophe in the midst of a Cuban Missile Crisis, he says, "If the world is still here on Monday, we can talk." Nalazim se u stanu na 13. spratu solitera, ali to nije moj stan. Znači na stan moje tetke, odnosno na stan u kome su, kad sam bila dete, živjeli moji baka i deda. I dnevna soba je velika i svetla. Nalazim se na vrhu solitera i vidim grad pred sobom. Iza mene je televizor, emituju se vesti i sve počinje nekako usred situacije. U stanu sam, nemam pojma zašto, ni kako sam tu dospela, ni koliko sam već tu. Ništa što se desilo pre toga ne postoji. Samo taj sadašnji trenutak u kojem ja imam neko čudno znanje, svest o tome šta će da se desi. Stojim sama na sred sobe, nisam čitala knjigu, jela, ležala, čistila, nisam čak ni ležerno gledala TV. Ja samo tako stojim na sred sobe, gledam ka prozorima i nešto čekam. I kada shvatam da sam u toj sobi na 13. spratu solitera, saznajem da će se dogoditi katastrofa, ali to shvatam neposredno pre nego što će se ona desiti. Na TV-u ide vest, nešto više od pola minuta nas deli od potencijalnog udara. 40 sekundi. Veliki udar kreće negde od Irana i putuje velikom brzinom preko celog sveta i sasvim izvesno stiže do Evrope i do nas. Katastrofa se čeka i očekuje, ali ne danima ili satima. 10 sekundi. Eto, toliko je konačno. Dok TV signal, informacije do nas doputuje, već je zbrisana cela Turska, Kipar, Gruzija, Grčka, Bugarska, Rumunija, Moldavija, Ukrajina, Rusija, Italija. Male su šanse da se iko spase. 30 sekundi. Ja sam na vrhu solitera, nemam nikakve šanse da pobegnem. 25 sekundi. Ne mičem se, stojim na sred sobe i gledam ka velikim prozorima, nebo je vedro, prozori su baš čisti i sve je svetlo i mirno, 20 sekundi odjednom. U tom trenutku, baš ka soliteru ide neka velika konstrukcija. Zelena je, liči na flašu ili na granatu, na raketu. Provjeri da li je to isto. 15 sekundi. Približava se, ne nešto pretjerano brzo. Možda se meni samo tako čini. 10 sekundi. Ide pravo ka meni. Ja instinktivno idem unazad, ali nemam gde da pobegnem, tu sam. Ne idem u drugu sobu, nema svrhe. 5, 4, 3. I kako se približi soliteru i prozorima, 2, ona staje. 1. I bljesne. Cap. Pic. Kreće neko pištanje. Veliki vatreni mlaz probija prozor, ali ne ruši ništa, kao snop svetlosti koji je pre ulazio kroz sobu, kroz one čiste prozore. Ne raspršuje se, ne menja pravac, ide kao strela, pravo, probada kroz prostor stana. Šta ja radim? Ja se bacam na pod i glavu prekrivam rukama da izbegnem vatru. I to mi valjda polaze za rukom, jer vatra leti kroz prostor i ide dalje. Nije me dodirnula. Pridižem se, možda sam živa, možda nisam. Kako da znam? Izgledam isto, ali se osjećam drugačije. Izgledam neobično isto. Možda samo umišljam. Zar je moguće da nema posledica, da je sravnjeno pola zemaljske kugle, ali sam ja dobro? Sklona sam da stalno sumnjam u sebe, možda opet to. Ne znam zašto sam toliko nesigurna. Sve na meni je isto i u meni je skoro isto, ali baš zbog tog osjećaja nepromenjenosti nisam dobro. U sobi je sve na svom mestu kao i pre. To nema nikakvog smisla. Apokalipsa se upravo dogodila i šta je još neobično, u meni nema olakšanja jer sam preživala. Vrlo sam sumnjičava prema svom stanju. Nije normalno da je sve kao što je bilo. Gde su ljudi? Ne zvoni telefon, niko ne zove da pita kako sam. Gledam kroz prozor i kola se kreću nesmetano kao pre udara. Sve na svom mestu, a ipak nekako život se promenio. To ima smisla. Apokalipsa se upravo dogodila. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
Everything's on hold. Everything's on hold. Rolling in the opposite direction, like a runaway. No one knows it. I've been cast away. In chaos, we may find the truth. We may come alive. We come alive. Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse. We're running in a constant loop. We're running in a constant loop. A constant, we're running in a constant loop. Hold up.
Evacuation, lift your hell lock. You support your place. This gift flow and follow the flow. You will find
Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse. Always apocalypse.
We are now in phase 4. These phases are actually called time stages in disaster. And they're described in a book which is called Tornado in Worcester, explanatory study of individual and community response to disaster situations, which was written by Anthony F.C. Wallace. So we've already gone through phases of, let me see the notes, warning, threat, and impact. Now we are in inventory, and we need to go through rescue, remedy, and recovery. So warning was a precautionary activity. It may occur over a long period of time, and it contains cues, signs that may or may not have any meaning, so they can be quite ambiguous. Warning, as distinguished from threat, does not specify certainty of impact. Threat, however, involves cues which to many people at least are not ambiguous. This period of threat is usually very short. It's being followed either by impact or by awareness of the danger having passed. Threat includes unmistakable cues, though hope might persist. Impact, on the other hand, can be felt by everyone exposed to the catastrophe. The impact period is the time where physical destruction is happening to everybody, and it is brought by the agent of the impact. There is not much to do but hold on. Inventory is where we are now. This is when we gather ourselves, when we look behind and in front of us and decide what to do. Then comes the rescue phase, which is when spontaneous, local, unorganized, authentic help and reactions arrive. First aid by locals and community. After that, remedy, which is the institutional response, organized and professional relief, medical care, and other security measures. And finally, recovery. Recovery is the phase of individual rehabilitation and readjustment, of community restoration, of preventive measures against recurrence.
My planet is falling apart. My house is drowning in the ocean. My gods are hiding in the trees. Oh, please, this cannot be real. My planet is falling asleep, but I'm still awake now. My gods are laughing at me. I can hear them loud and clear. I see it bleed. The ground beneath my feet, I see it shake. Trembling, trembling, just like an earthquake. I see it. My planet is falling. My house is drowning in the ocean. My gods are hiding in the trees. Oh, please, this cannot be real.
You make one very important point. Don't worry about the planet. The planet is fine. We're the problem. The planet can live perfectly happy and will continue for billions of years to come very, very happily without us. It is we who the planet is probably fed up with. And with good reason, I think. Now, it's not that we didn't know about this. This is the first edition of the book, written 50 years ago, over 50 years ago, by Rachel Carson, Science Free. We were warned 50 years ago that what we were doing was unsustainable. We were warned that what we were doing was lethal to our own future. As I say, because it's been a slow burn issue, we chose to nod, make nice noises, and ignore it.
Policía, emergencias, bomberos, comité de crisis,
And now, after the
Organizaciones
catastrophe has happened and we
humanitarias,
had the first response, we now
Cruz
need
Roja,
instructions
Media
and
Luna Roja,
measures that are
Amnistía
organized by
Internacional,
relevant institutions.
compañías de seguros,
So is there anyone here with us
Instituto de
tonight,
Salud
either live
Mental,
or online, who is maybe from the
tribunales,
police
policías,
or firefighters
emergencias, bomberos,
or
Organizaciones
emergency personnel? Like, is there a
humanitarias,
doctor in the house?
Cruz Roja,
There's a
Media
doctor in
Luna
the
Roja,
house. Okay. So we had a
Amnistía
catastrophe. We need you to
Internacional,
prepare like guidelines on how
compañías
to
de
work with it
seguros,
and then send it to
Comité de
us.
Seguridad,
We also need, for example,
Ministerio
humanitarian
de Cultura,
organizations like the Red Cross or
Organizaciones de
the Red
Derechos
Crescent
Humanos,
or Amnesty International.
Crisis,
Or is there anyone from the United
Organizaciones de
Nations
las
here, like the
Naciones
Security
Unidas,
Council or the
tribunales,
General Assembly of the United
senados,
Nations? Or maybe is there
Parlamento,
anyone here from the Ministry of
Patrimonio,
Culture or the Ministry of
Ministerio de
Ecology
Cultura,
or any institution that
Ministerio
deals
de
with the
Ecología,
heritage preservation, with the monuments
Ministerio de
preservation,
Salud,
with
Instituto de
preventing the
Salud
destruction of
Mental,
culture, or
Comité de
any
Seguridad,
anti-genocide organization, or what is the relevant
Comunicaciones,
organization? Is
Servicios
there
de
anyone from
Media,
the Parliament or the Congress or the House of
Televisión,
Lords or a Senate
Radio,
or I don't know,
periódicos,
Commission of the European Union? Is there anyone from
compañías de
any
seguros,
party that has any kind of a solution because we
periódicos,
are dealing with
revistas
catastrophe?
online,
Or is there anyone that can actually help us get to the final phase of recovery? Recovery. The time when our memory becomes solid. When we remember. It is the period when we regenerate and the community is rebuilt. We slow down and soften as we are asked to provide sanctuary for the wounds, grief, and unfelt joys of a lifetime. This is the time we imagine as glorious and prosperous, when we can grow and thrive, when we can say things such as, every day is like midday in late spring. We can run and tumble through the grass and laugh loud enough to be heard far away. We go along whatever road we find, leaping and singing. We tell stories about purely human matters and we smile because it's all so incredible. It is the time when we fall asleep and someone puts us to bed. uključio. Jel to okej? Zato što je krenulo da mi ispada. I onda sam bio u fazonu da mi ne padne, da ne svijest. Ali mi ne treba. A? Bože, ključe spusti. Pa je na, mikrofon. Čekaj, možemo nekako da zarotiramo kameru? Pa da... Pa ne, samo ovo. Cool.
Okay. Kako smo se namestili pred dobro, nemam pojma, a sad ćemo da završiti. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hello, cool. Okay. So I will make a short introduction to everyone here and also online. So we are Echo Animato. This is Željko Maksimovic. This is Marija Kovačina who will now join us. My name is Ana Konstantinovic. Tamara Baračkov, I don't know if she can join us, but she's also a member. And our guest tonight is Guillermo de Cabañas, who is here as a performer. And here online we have Viach from Prague, Nina, Rosa, and Vi. And I will let them talk a little bit more about what they do in a moment, because I forgot to tell them that, but of course this is just like friends. And here we have Matty from Culture Hub in New York. So,
Hey everybody.
Yeah. So the idea was to start some kind of discussion. So since we are here with a live audience also, which was a very, let's say, brave decision to have both live and online audience. So maybe I would start with if anyone has any questions or comments or anything else to say that's from in the room. Maybe someone. Of course.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm a friend of Echo Animato team, and I was late as I usually am, so I just want to get more context a bit. Like, did you read this thing that Tamara wrote in the beginning? Was this the first part? Aha, so this is like the premonition of the disaster, and then it goes like in time according to these sequences that Željko explained. Okay, good. No.
Yeah. That's it. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. About chronology? If we could rearrange the sequence. The sequence is actually quite scientific. Anna was more into it. It was actually really done by this guy who explored tornadoes and recovery after tornadoes. So I guess he kind of like spotted all these sequences, and we decided to use this construction that we will also use in another kind of a more developed theater, let's say, project. Because I mean, disaster or catastrophe is a topic that actually interests us very much, especially with everything that's been going on lately. Some things that are being defined different in different societies and different contexts that are completely catastrophic on a global level, but also catastrophes that we have experienced in our lives intimately and or locally, communally here in Belgrade. So yeah, this is basically a starting point for us, this construction, and we wanted kind of to tackle everything a little bit and see how it can develop more into different areas. And we wanted to do it with Culture Hub and with to try and finally do like a completely hybrid event. But yeah, technology was really not completely with us tonight. These days, let's say.
I think technology worked perfect this time. No, Maria is here for Maria worked like 15 jobs, and then David joined and worked another 15 jobs. So there are two people working like for 25 people or something like that. So it was a very complex in the end. We thought like it's gonna be a very simple project, very simple performance, just a few live streams and some guys from Prague and a little bit people from New York and a few cameras and nothing special. And then in the end it was like very complicated. But yeah, but I think it, in the end the stream worked quite cool and everything worked quite well. And I think it was much better than we were afraid of. And that's one of the things that we usually hear working the people working in theater or usual or let's say common arts are working with in comparison to digital people. Well, I know we have here some digital artists, so young artists also, that we are always like first of all we don't understand how hard it is just to do one simple live stream, and another thing is that we are afraid of it. So yeah, but maybe Maria or Guillermo can say something a little bit, and then we can give the mic to the others.
I mean, I just hope this performance was not a complete disaster, even though catastrophe, even though last night at the general rehearsal, it really seemed like it's going to be a disaster. Thank you.
Policia, policia, emergency. Yeah, okay, cool. So maybe I would really like to talk a little bit with Viach and in general also about their work, because we met in Prague last year where Juan Mato did a workshop together with Culture Hub on digital performance. It was like a beginner introductory workshop, and it was a great experience. And then we met Rosa and Nina, and we heard that Rosa is in a band with V, and then we heard about Viach, and we became big fans, and then we invited them to participate. So maybe they can tell us a bit about how was this experience for them or something like that.
Do you want to do it? Or? Yes, maybe. We really enjoyed it. For us, it was really nice moment. We kind of like a flashback to whenever we were in COVID. So whenever it was we were doing something like this, we were trying to do something like this over live streams and stuff like that. So, but in the general, we really enjoyed it. Me and Nina in the workshop in National Theater. It was in fall, and we super enjoyed it. We loved her work and everything. So and it's something like similar with the drawings and stuff like that. So we were really to connect it somehow with the other performances, and then you visit our concert, and then we just kind of connected together. So it went really actually well. We always want to do something like this, like it would be over stream, but also connected with the with the music and stuff like that. So we really enjoyed it. Yes.
Actually, we want. That's me. Woo! We wanted to do full live stream from Prague, but that was one of the things we realized yesterday could be a problem. So then, in the end, we decided that we should do just the music was not live, unfortunately. Although we did manage to do it once, but not today. But then the Viach was here, and Nina was drawing live, and that was live thing going on from Prague. So yeah, it was really great, and thank you for participating in this experiment. And also Guillermo here, we kind of decided. So in one moment, we decided this structure is going to be these phases in the dealing with catastrophes, because this is actually the beginning of our research, and it's going to go further from here. But since we're in this phase, we wanted to present this part of the work. And these 7 phases that were mentioned it was what we explored, and we kind of made a short dramaturgy about it, and then we kind of gave each performer or group or someone like a small task to deal with this specific topic and to develop their own kind of ideas, and then we kind of mashed them all together. So that was kind of the process. And we talked with Viach also about their songs, which could be working, and so everyone kind of contributed in their own way to a small piece of this puzzle. That was kind of the general idea. And we have also one more performer, which tomorrow is going to go back to the pet shop and tell the amazing stories of the amazing life it had. So yeah, it's going to forget. It's already out. So is there maybe anything else anyone wants to talk about? Anyone has any question or comment? Eva, yes, here.
and thank you for this. For me, this was tremendously exciting to be here with everything happening, and then having an addition of all the digital bonuses that you guys put into this. And honestly, everything was clear. It was clear that you are touching base with these subjects, that this is just the beginning of something that will go further. It really, on an emotional level, it hit the spot. Also, yeah, the goldfish that has the memory of the goldfish kind of had the mirror effect to the audience. That was very clear. And yeah, it really works. This really works. And one more thing is that it seemed, from the technical point of view, it really seemed effortless. Well, I have to say, because we took it as a given that you guys will do all these things, and it's not going to be perfect, but it didn't bother me at all. So for me, it works.
Yeah, it was very effortless, I think. Maria is like waiting for a drink, and David also. David is waiting for two drinks because he jumped in like 2 days ago. So yeah, so cool. Yeah, what else? I wanted to say something also about the Culture Hub and this thing that this is actually part of Refest, as people watching online probably know. So Refest is a festival that Culture Hub New York organizes for how many years? I don't know, Matty? 8, 9?
I think it's more like 10.
10, already 10. This is the
11.
10th?
This is the 11th year.
Ah, it's the 11th year. Okay, cool. So it's a very interesting festival, and you can check it out online on their website, culturehub.org. And there is a continuous loop of interesting videos from all over the world, kind of. And there are some performances still, like two more or one more? Two more, I think. Two more, yeah. So that's really cool, and we're really happy that finally we had a chance to do this thing, because we worked a lot with Culture Hub, but we worked a lot in person, and we worked a few things that were like pre-recorded or shorter format. And this is the first really like longer format hybrid experience with live audience, and it was really, really thrilling for us to do it. So yeah, how did it look like to you, Matty? If you did you manage to watch the whole stream now? Yeah.
Of course. Um, I mean, it's funny because I'm in New York, and I building with Ejo Anamato in Belgrade. I've been in that room on multiple occasions doing workshops in person. So it's really fun to be like, oh wait, I know that place, and then to be in the apartment. Is it an apartment or a studio in Prague? It's apartment. Yeah, to be in somebody's home. Because I don't know, the reality is that you can kind of just to travel, and especially in Refest right now, there are two videos constantly playing from different places, and they're switching constantly, and then the stream is getting taken over by Aroji, who was in the chat from Kenya, and then it got taken over by Culture Hub LA, and then a group in collaborating between Brazil and Germany and Korea, and a group in New York and Spain and France. And so you really can kind of just flit around the world like this. But for so many people and for so many reasons, leaving or traveling or going somewhere else is really not possible. Or if a crisis occurs, like I just think about this moment of crisis and when you are kind of grounded. So it's just kind of an interesting like feeling of being in the eye of the storm, being able to jump from place to place. But yeah, when you're in a crisis, and I keep thinking about the word crisis as opposed to catastrophe, but that's probably because it's a little more generic. Something doesn't necessarily have to happen to make a crisis. But I don't know, it made me think about how do we sort of be together in a place, because this group of people were together in a place in Prague, and you were together in a place in Serbia, but we're so far from each other, and there's so many things that will keep us far from each other.
Thank you for the optimistic and but it's true. Yeah, yeah. I think we are all kind of thinking the similar thing. In these days, it's like it is a bit overwhelming, I guess. At least for me, I will speak in my own name. So it is a bit overwhelming with all the things, but doing stuff like this, it really makes you feel like, yeah, there is maybe at least something that you can hold on to, as Via says in their song. Maybe Jelko wanted to say something, and then slowly, if there is no more questions or comments, we can. If there is, we can. But if not. This is a threat for phase. Are there any questions? Maybe Jelko wanted to say, or Guillermo, you don't want to say anything? Thank you. Okay, thank you. You wanted to say a few things. You asked for Mike, yeah?
I don't know. I don't want to bring down the mood or anything, but yeah, as Maddie said, crisis or catastrophe or all the words that we are exploring and saying actually have no meaning unless there is some action that we kind of talked about or tried to talk about tonight. And I don't want to cause any troubles, but I would like to say that the action that I would like to see is an immediate ceasefire and the stop of all the conflicts and wars that are happening right now. And I don't want to be a witness of certain catastrophes. But on the other hand, I think that the good thing about this event and this hybrid form is actually that you can build a wider community than just the immediate first aid responders that are in your area. But actually, you can go and find like-minded people in New York or Prague or wherever in the world and connect and stay connected. So I think, yeah, let's stay connected and let's try to overcome all the crises.
The hearts? Yes. Nora, do you have a question? Yes.
Do I have to introduce myself? Do I need to? I'm Nora. Hi. And just piggybacking off what was just said, which was beautifully said, and I'm sure extends to a wide variety of catastrophes happening in our world right now, and perhaps the most pressing of them being a genocide in Palestine. So I feel good to say in this moment that free Palestine, immediate ceasefire, all that kind of stuff. But as we're watching this horrible, horrible genocide unfold, what do you see? What's the opposite of catastrophe? Because in English we say a lot, crisis averted, like in a flippant way too, like, oh, I thought I wasn't going to make it on time because there wasn't a parking space, and now there was a parking space, crisis averted. But also crisis on a much bigger level, or getting to something catastrophe, disaster. It's important to, and I'm definitely one for rumination, so it's important to think about those things, but what's the end goal beyond recovery? And I don't know, like, what that means to you guys as you sit here meditating on crisis and catastrophe. Thanks.
Thank you, Nora.
For me, it would be peace, but not like just in terms of conflict or war, but like an inner peace with oneself. I think that would be the opposite of catastrophe, like accepting your own faults and flaws and kind of like respecting others' faults and flaws. And I think when we are kind of in peace with ourselves, then we don't have the urge to make conflict or catastrophes around us. I mean, it's a completely utopistic and idealistic position, but I don't know. I mean, just respecting other people, respecting other people's rights to whatever, And I think it comes only from the peace within, when you are like okay with who you are. And I guess that I don't know, maybe that would be one response to this. I don't know if it makes sense.
Via, do you maybe have thoughts on this? Like I'm putting you on it. I mean, you don't have to, but if you have some thoughts on it. Not really. Yes, no, yes, no. The little hearts. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this word, also buzzword, which is healing these days, of course, and I feel like catastrophe and healing are the same and the opposite in the same time because it's these waves of things going on, and just as we said, as Željko said in the beginning, like through different procedures and things, we kind of build in the disaster in our society and make it repeat and repeat and repeat. And I don't think that's really possible that it just stops ever. But I think that the healing cycles should be also encouraged. And then it's also ups and downs and ups and downs. But it's also something that's like encouraging more discourse that goes towards this, towards not recovery, but towards healing and towards these integration of different aspects of societies of ourselves and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of in this somewhere in this road. Yeah, that's for me. People are leaving. Bye. Goodbye. Bye bye. And I think we should also leave. Is there anything else? Matty, yes.
From a Roji asked in the chat.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that it's going to be different for the in-person performers and the online performers, but the question was, who were you more aware of while performing between the live audience and the online audience?
Thank you, Roji, for the question.
Who were we more aware of? Who were we thinking of? The live audience or the online audience?
Both of them. Yeah. You?
Yeah, I mean, I was also kind of thinking about both, but I was trying to kind of like have this, like, I don't know, approach. I don't know, to be kind of like to treat the online audience like they're here somehow. I don't know if it makes sense, but both. Yeah, I mean, you see the camera and then you kind of like play for the camera a little bit. I hope it worked. I don't know. Yeah, but it's interesting because you don't get many chances to do this work that has like both audiences, and you get lost sometimes because you're like, oh my God, where am I now? But yeah, but it's exciting. So yeah, both.
Yeah, I also think, or we all think that for us, it was also the being aware of both, being also in the presence and being also online. Because I think it's a little bit different than doing it on camera and doing it online. Yeah, sorry, what was the same? Doing it online and doing it in the presence. So it always turns out a little bit different for every point of view. So I think we've been all aware of that, also doing the rehearsals and the performance that from every different side, we'll see it a little bit differently than online. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the hearts. Okay. Um, so I think we kind of passed our time, and we should probably go on to the refest loop and go on, right? Am I right, Matty? Is it okay? Okay, cool. So thank you everyone who is here today in this very hot day in Belgrade, extremely hot, and thank you, girls from Prague, a lot, and thank you, Matty, for being here. And now we go for drinks, and our online audience. Maria is whispering, online audience, and I'm like, sorry, yes, of course, thanks a lot, online audience. And we go for a drink here now, and we hope you can also go for a drink. Although it's midday, but Matty, go for it. Okay, thank you guys, and see you on Refest. Ciao.